I am Dalton Pringle. This is Gabriel Kovac. Our band's called Squish.
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 And where did that name come from?
Came from our other guitarist, who's not present. His grandmother's nickname is Squish, and we decided to make the make it about that. Bro, I don't know. It's her nickname, and we didn't put too much thought into it. We just said Squish. It's just one thing. It's good.
Didn't put too much thought into it. You just went with it.
Squish.
All right. So the band name really has no significance about your lyrics or anything
Well,
like that.
I always thought it meant like, because before he joined, he came late, and we had more of a lighter sound, and he came along and made everything darker and heavy. And I thought for a while, because we had so many different genres going on, that our genres were squishing our musicianship into what it is now. We've been squashed. We will squish you. Things are ready to be squished.
So you mentioned that. So you mentioned that Gabe joined, and that changed the sound of the band.
Yes.
So before he joined, what did you guys sound like? What was
Well,
your style?
we did not have a bass guitar. It was 2 guitars and drums and my voice. And I don't know how the fuck we did that or got away with it in any way. Because you need the bass. You can't have a house without a foundation. He joined. He saw a clip on Instagram and said, "Let me play for you guys." Right? And he played guitar one time, and it was over. Now I'm the bass player. He asserted his dominance. He has squished me, and now I play bass. But I love it. I love it so much. I love what he has done. He's done incredible work.
When did you join the band?
It was in the summer.
It was in 2022.
It was in the summer of 2022.
It was 2022.
It was 2022. July.
I've been playing for a long time, but I hadn't been playing in a band or anything like that for a while.
You're gonna need to speak up.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, sorry. I hadn't played in a band in a while. I started playing in bands when I was like 15, and it was like death metal. I just didn't really put much focus into it. And I knew you guys briefly. I mean, I knew that you played.
We went to a Korn concert.
We went to a Korn concert
together
with Yellow Wolf
with our drummer, and it was a really weird show actually.
Are you guys Korn fans?
I mean, I enjoy Korn.
You're good.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's double jacket territory, dude. But Mason, our drummer, I was cool with him. I only hung out with him 2 or 3 times, and he was like, "You guys have to, you have to check us out," and everything like that. And I missed like 2 of their gigs, so I felt pretty bad. And I was like, "Okay, how about instead of just checking you guys out, like, why don't we jam or something, and see if we vibe? It's all cool." And I didn't have a bass, so I actually borrowed a bass and a bass amp that we still have from a guy named Colin Flanagan.
Colin Flanagan.
We own his bass
Hello,
amp.
Colin Flanagan.
Thanks, Colin. And I jammed with him a little bit, and it was like pop punk, kind of, not super heavy, more rocky. I was like, that's pretty tight.
Yeah.
But after like 3 practices, I think I was just kind of doodling on the guitar, and I was like, I need to.
And we didn't know. We didn't know what was possible.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was quite honestly terrifying at first. But after a while, you learn to just take it all in.
So you mentioned that you were in death metal bands.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that really shows through in the way you play and really the way your whole band sounds.
Yes.
Which is a great thing.
Yeah.
I'm super into like death metal and death metal. What kind of bands were your inspiration when you were sort of in your earlier guitar phase playing death metal?
I think I stopped listening to death metal for a long time, but when I started, it was like the same bands I think that get a lot of rock and metal players into it, like I got very into at that time. So like I really like Metallica, I really like Pantera, I really like Megadeth. I got into like the Black Dahlia Murder, and then I got super into Mastodon. And I'm like still into Mastodon very much. So
I am a huge fan of
I've been
in the
doing
answer now. Their one album, I think it's Leviathan, right? Yeah.
Leviathan.
I had a CD of that album, and whenever like there would be turmoil at home, I just put that CD on in my car and
Blast
drive
it.
away.
Yes. Moby Dick in your ears, dude. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like stuff like that. But I kind of like got off of it, and I didn't really know what I wanted to play. I kind of stopped playing for a while. But then I got back into all those bands and just started playing incessantly again. And I don't listen to just death metal now, but like I think it made me appreciate what I could express and not feel too limited to what I had come from before.
Well, sure, and that's something I was going to ask you about, because it seems like your music style is really, for lack of a better word, it's really fusional. It's really syncretic. Like you're combining a lot of different things. You're not just sticking to one particular genre. Is that something that you do intentionally, or did that just kind of come out organically?
Well,
because you're
go like when we had all come together, when the group was finished, we would play cover songs, and we'd do. So it would range from Typo Negative's Black Number One, and then we'd throw a Kelly Clarkson song in there, Since You've Been Gone. Yeah. And we were feeling it. We said, "Fuck it, let's do it," and we just kind of do what we like to do. But now it's been a long road, and now it's veering towards a direction where we're only playing original music now. We have found a certain soundscape, and we're running with it. We grabbed it, and we're going.
I feel like we were there was almost an unseriousness to the music we were making before and playing before, in the sense that it almost feels pretentious in a weird way. We're trying so hard not to be serious about it. Like, I can do this, I can throw this in here, I can try this tone or try this sound. It doesn't really matter. And I think what happened is we kept playing together, so we were forming that tightness as a band, while also kind of growing musically in a way that we let that unseriousness kind of go in a manner that we weren't hindered by anything. So the music we were making, and I feel like in a way it's not too far out. We haven't allowed ourselves to be bogged down by any specific sound or genre. Like we might make a song that's super heavy and in my mind is a death metal type song. But we might make a song that to me reminds me of Kiss, or blend the two and not really go, well, this can't fit in here because this sounds so heavy and this doesn't. It's just a matter of, I think, our own personal taste and not allowing each other to be limited with our own mindset about what we make.
Because a lot of our songs, we come up with a part, we're like, I don't know what to do with this, and then someone else will make something, and then we'll link the two together and just build. We build off of each other.
Yeah, I was going to ask more about that. How does your songwriting process work? Is there sort of a typical pattern that your band follows when you're coming up with the song? Is there a certain process you have, or does it just kind of...
Well, I think if a lot of us will have an idea,
like
we'll all be
we'll
be doing something at home, or my drummer writes a lot of poetry. I try to write sometimes. Just start with lyrics, but so kind of working backwards in a way. But like you just doodle at home. I have an idea when we practice. I come in and I show this little bass riff, and then it just kind of goes off from there.
Yeah.
And then as we show that, we tinker with the parts and the order of them and how they should go. Yeah. And we all come to a consensus on things.
I feel like musically we come up with things by, like you said, like in our own respect. I'll be at home and I'll be putting something together, and I might not. I'm never really intentionally trying to write anything. I feel like what I often end up doing is I'm just kind of allowing myself to be in a flow state and playing guitar because I enjoy it, and then that's when I start to get more musical ideas. And then lyrically, I think it comes from, you, me, and Mason do a lot of that, where it's like, what's kind of bothering us now, or what are we just thinking about now, and whatever that thought is has to have some relevance with the music that I've been coming up with because they're happening at the same time. so I think it's about finding, you know, what emotionally matches the music you're making, but you know, the music should have as much impact to you as what you're writing to put on top of it, because that's going to take precedence in many ways.
What do you write your songs about? What sorts of subject matters do you tend to base your lyrics on?
I have a few songs written about, you know, getting fucked over in a relationship, whether it be platonic, romantic, parental, you know, fraternal, doesn't matter. You know, just someone who can be a piece of shit, and it's like how to deal with that. Sometimes it's not always the healthiest way to deal with things. State of the world, you know, I wrote one song called Discord. At the time, I didn't know what it, because the first word is "get the fuck away from me, fascist." And I didn't know, I wrote that like 2 years ago, I didn't know it had any significance now, it just sounded good at the time. And then it kind of turned into something else, a take on society, if you will.
I feel like...
But I've also written a song about David Lynch's Twin Peaks, the TV show.
Again, I feel
for
like...
no reason.
I love Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, mostly the way through season 1 right now.
Yeah.
So good. You've been watching these movies?
No, I don't think so.
You'll get into it, I promise. It's a rabbit
Watch
hole.
Lost Highway.
Lost Highway is great.
Crazy.
I feel like musically everything has a concept, I think, that matters to us. Like, we do have a song that is about Twin Peaks, which is like whatever, but like we have a song that we released on Spotify called Joe Dancer, and that's like a cop movie. It's like a really not great
really
cop
old
movie, like made for TV.
B-rated cop movie.
And I watched it with our drummer, and I wrote these lyrics that kind of just encompass the plot, but I wanted it to be about how we exploit people in the entertainment industry now, like specifically on TikTok and influencers and stuff like that. And it fits. It's in a weird way, it fits.
I don't understand why it fits, but it does.
It does fit, you know. And I think it's, you know, a lot of that is like, with music, you kind of have the easy avenue of, I can express something to you and you can understand it, but you don't have to understand it with my words, right? It doesn't have to be clear and concise. You know, you can play in a specific melody or play a specific rhythm, whatever, and convey how you're feeling to whoever's listening. But like lyrically, sometimes I feel like if you're too direct, sometimes it helps, but if you're more abstract about it, I think you can express yourself in a way that's still personal, and you don't have to explicitly say what you're trying to. So I think it keeps things kind of refreshing that way. For me, like personally, I think everything we do is personal. I don't really, you know, nothing we write is like people are going to love this, because we're not at that level, and we're not. That's not what we're concerned about. And I think it's just keeping things that feel legit.
Yeah. You just want to feel good about things.
Feel good, yeah.
So for you, playing your instrument and lyrics sort of go together as a method of expressing the meaning of the song. It's not just putting lyrics on top of a riff.
Yeah. I think it's like anytime we start going, okay, now we have to write lyrics, it's like that song usually doesn't end up getting made because we can't figure out what to write for it, because it doesn't feel like anything's actually being pulled out.
Like when I write words for a song, it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Like the words just kind of appear. I'm not really sure where they fucking come from. It's just a thing, you know? And shit, they've written books about that. Like fucking the Beatles, you know, Paul McCartney, he thought God gave it to him or some shit.
Yeah.
I read that somewhere, but maybe I'm stretching the truth.
You're probably
but
wrong, dude.
I'm probably absolutely
idiot.
wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a dumb idiot. But I'm pretty sure the way my mind works is I don't actually, because like I hear the songs I've been playing for years, and I'm like, I don't remember writing this actually.
It's a lot. You
I
said a lot of
I don't
voice
actually
recordings.
remember when I put this together.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're
how
a good
it
guitar player
transformed.
too. I feel like the Dalton will. You either start with lyrics and you're like, this is how I'm feeling, and I'm just gonna sit with these and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that's always been hard for me that you're really good at doing, is like coming up with something vocally before there's even music behind it.
Yeah, and not a lot of people do that. Like
I think it's weird.
I think because
And it's hard.
well,
Sometimes
I
it's
write
difficult.
it and I read it like poetry.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the words, and then you make a riff on that, and then you put the fucking cadence and the tone and the fucking pitch and the noise. You know, you sing after that.
Yeah.
I don't really know how it works, but you know, I'm here and we're doing it and it sounds good. People seem to think it's good.
I think
keep doing it.
you know, everything just straight up comes out of like just playing and being like, shit, that sounds cool. You know, like I don't like that. Maybe there's a negative connotation to that. Like, I don't think that your intention always has to be to make something. Like, if you sit down and you're like, I need to make something, you shouldn't. I mean, you can create music out of necessity. I think everyone does in a way, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've made songs that we don't like anymore.
Yeah.
We've played them tons of times, but now it just doesn't make. We don't like them anymore because it doesn't.
It has to stay real, you know. It has to stay.
So there's a saying that like a watched pot never boils, right? Like if you're sitting down trying to force it out, it's never going to be as good as the stuff you just come up with.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. Like it's all living in the now, baby.
Yeah.
We're just about it, and shit. Maybe the songs we're playing now that are sick. Maybe down the line we'll make even something crazier, and we're like, yeah, we actually got to get rid of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know because I like them. We like what we play.
Yeah, I think it's
fun.
I think it's a mix between allowing yourself to be sentimental, but also not looking at the shit you made and being like, I don't need to hold on to this anymore. You know what I mean?
A lot of what you were playing, some of your riffs that were like one chord, like rhythmic riffs, really reminded me of old school metalcore.
Yeah.
Like those old school straight edge bands from the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know any of the bands I'm talking about, like Earth Crisis or...
Oh my god, I just watched a video about that, like, underground scene.
Yeah.
And we mean by straight edge is like, the guy who started that, he just was sober, or like he had drugs. And,
Well, sure. I guess I was just bringing that up to sort of describe it. That's
Okay.
this is their sound.
Yeah.
Those bands, those straight edge bands, they have a certain sound.
Okay.
I guess it seems like you guys maybe aren't super familiar with that, so I find that really fascinating. It's almost like...
Yeah.
I'm not really versed in those bands. Like,
It's really interesting though, like what you were playing was reminded me of that. Not like you were ripping off. Just, yeah. That's my favorite kind of music. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
hell yeah,
Big scene.
It's fun to play a complicated riff. It's satisfying to put together a song, at least for me as a guitar player, that is challenging but also has like a fluidity, and you know what I mean? You kind of get a fluency with it, and it feels good to play. There's a satisfaction behind it. You like how it sounds, like it's kind of checking all the boxes. But sometimes I feel like emotionally, you can only do this for so long and still kind of say what you want to say. And if you, there's just I think a time where you have to bog down and dig in, and that's how I feel about those kind of more chuggy single note things.
Yeah.
It's like this is the time for the energy that we've been building up in this song to not only explode, but maybe to kind of like ice pick, you know what I mean, and drive it deeper, and then open it up, or maybe not, maybe just pummel it until it's over, you know?
Yeah. Our track Leech really encapsulates that, I think, because at the end it's like 4 minutes of the same
It's
exact
pretty much
riff.
the same thing.
But
we grow
but
it.
there's something
change it with each.
like they just throw spice on it,
Yeah.
and it becomes you know.
And what's Leech about, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay, Leech is very abstract, but what it means to me is being a human being, living in this world. A lot of it I didn't know what my purpose was, what the purpose of anything was, because what is that fucking purpose? But then I found something, this band, and it's kind of the only thing that I got right now. I mean, everyone has family. But like this is something that I need, and it's something that I've been gifted. And but at the end, I say one word Leech, and I don't really know. Like it's still the words and everything. I'm still figuring it out, dude. Like I don't really know what it means, but I know it means something. I say the first line I say. This cruel reminder of what we need throws the problem in our face. And just surviving is fucking hard, dude. Every day. You gotta keep doing it. for years and you don't stop. But in that moment of playing, it's just that. There's nothing else. And it's something magical. Even just being a part of the crowd and listening to the other bands, I don't gotta worry about anything in that moment. And it's almost like touching God. But I think also playing music can be very depressing at times. A lot of self-doubt and self-loathing can occur. And then I come here as a performer. This isn't as negative as it sounds, but it's like the audience is leeching off of everything that I've done. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just that's the word that comes to mind. I don't know. It's like there's like a transfer of something. And it's sucking it out of me. But it's not a bad thing. It could be like the Green Mile, well, there's green bugs and shit. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
So it's sort of like you're putting a lot of energy into what you're doing, and the audience is getting something out of it.
I think that's a good way. It's like it's like if you make anything, you're like anything you create is imbued with this energy, especially music. I mean, obviously you're interested in music. You come from a music background. It's pure energy. That's what it feels like, And when you're making it, especially when you're playing in a live scenario, which like right now that's mostly what we're doing. That thing you're making is just out there for anyone to take in. So you're watching people take it from you. You know what I mean? You're creating it, you're getting the thing out of it, they're getting the thing out of it. I think it's just like a weird experiential thing to make music and also experience people experiencing what you're making. And I wouldn't say it's leeching maybe in a negative way, but it's leeching in a way that like even now after playing, I feel like things that I've been feeling in my body and in my mind, can't even recall upon because everything just came out. You know what I mean? It's been leached out of me, in many ways.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. So leech almost like a substance leaching out.
Yeah.
Like blood sucking.
Yeah.
Here's something I just thought of. They used to think leeches were medicine, right?
Yeah.
You have to slap a fucking fat one on your neck,
Slap
dude.
a big
It's like,
one
I'm
on
gonna be able to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, dude.
Thank God for leeches, because without them,
Just get the bad blood sucked out.
Get it sucked out.
A little blood letting,
Yeah.
It's good every once in a while.
So, just to fuck it, add another perspective on there.
Yeah. Stop.
So a couple wrap-up questions, just about the band specifically. How long have you guys been together?
3 years. He's been with us 2.5, I'd say. And we don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
You play a lot of shows out of town, or are you mostly playing in Toledo?
I played mostly in
Toledo.
We're starting to kind of...
We actually started in BG, Bowling Green, Ohio.
We play there tomorrow.
And we play there tomorrow at Howard's. If you're seeing this from the future and you have a time machine,
if you're not, go back.
Out. I don't know who's gonna see this, but someone will.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went up to Ann Arbor, trying to get in Detroit. It's a little tricky to get there.
Yeah,
and then we
it's
went to
getting
St.
dicey. But that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
The diciness is interesting. It makes it.
I like. It's like Guitar Hero when we're on like level 1 still. We're trying to get to level 2 in Guitar Hero. We played at the Blind Pig. That's level 2.
That's level 2. But like Toledo, I wouldn't call Toledo level 1 either. Yeah. I think it's more so about we're from here. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit more. People are sweeter to you in that way, and I think when you're an out of towner, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
they're kind of like
to prove when you're out of town.
Right. Yeah,
I've been out of town before. I know what you mean. It's a different feeling.
It is.
A lot of hometown and your friends are there, as opposed to you're in some bar. Yeah. In another state.
Exactly.
And you're with a bunch of people that have never met you.
Yeah, you don't have that
no idea who you are.
wall anymore. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So do you guys have any recorded music out?
We do.
Do you have any releases?
We have one single named Joe Dancer on Spotify. You find us the word Squish.
It's all caps.
It's all caps.
It had to be.
This winter, we're going to hibernate after this show, and then we're going to try and record a full-length album. Yeah. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that journey. It's going to be fun. I think once we get our music out there, the way we like it to be, I think a lot of more doors are going to open up.
Yeah.
I think that is. I hope that's the thing. But
Either way,
if I end up like Charles Bukowski and I get successful at 50, that's cool with me too.
And, yeah.